Next up is the Pulp Riot Blonde AF that retails for $28.26 for a 17.6 ounce bag. Now this lightener is going to give you plenty of different application options. It's great for in foil, it's gentle on the scalp, and it's great for hair painting techniques that are going to give you up to 9 levels of lift. Some key features and benefits is that the blue color is going to have a slight toning property that helps during the lifting process. It does not expand or swell in the foil. The protein protects and nourishes the hair follicles from within, and it prevents existing split ends from getting worse by passing through the cuticle. It has 9 essential amino acids that act as natural strengtheners, repairing damaged hair and promoting hair growth. Rich in vitamin C with quinoa that balances the production of natural oils to keep strands properly moisturized and reduce breakage due to tangling. So now let's go ahead and open this up. Now I have used this lightener one time when it first launched. I honestly can't really remember it, so I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I do like packaging like this as well. Little downside about this type of packaging is I don't like that you have to like snappy snap this. I kind of liked the Goldwell lightener when it had the little zip tie. Like that was so cool. I think I'm getting immune to smell. Like literally none of these lighteners had a strong fragrance, which is really interesting, but I kind of don't smell anything yet. There is a little scooper in here, so yay. So let's go ahead and do the dust test. So it does have that blue color and definitely major dust. So even with that little dust test, I actually still couldn't smell any fragrance. I'm starting to think my nasal passages are a little damaged. It is giving you different mixing ratios based on how thick or thin you want your lightener, so overall the viscosity. But for this test, we are gonna do a 1 to 2. Now the big call out for this lightener was that you had to use its dedicated developer for best results. You already know that that's what I think anyways, and I do think it is important to use the corresponding developer. That's the best way you're really gonna see the best results from any of the claims that any product's gonna give you. So we have about 10 grams of lightener in here, so we're gonna go ahead and put 20 grams of our developer. And this is another really thick light or developer. So this one feels pretty similar to the Redken Flash Lift, although I don't know, it's giving me like fine sand mixed with powdered sugar vibes. All right, this is really thick actually how this is mixing up, and this is a 1 to 2, so I'm kind of like surprised here. I'm really curious about the no swelling claim, because that's like the biggest complaint from most stylists, is that the swell factor can make your foils bleed. So if that's the case, that would be super cool, because then you can have ultimate precision with exactly where you place it. You know it's going to lighten in that exact area and you don't have to worry about it so much. So this is pretty thick. I don't even know if we have to do the brush test, but we'll do the brush test. So already this is probably like the thickest lightener I have ever mixed up at a 1 to 2. It's pretty intense. I'm not sure if I would even mix this up at a 1 to 1, but I'm kind of curious what a 1 to 1 would actually feel like. That's pretty crazy. So let's go ahead and put this on. I'm hoping that I will like this, because this is some thick ass lightener. Like definitely super ultra thin sections if you're going to use this one, because it's not even really letting me open up the hair. Like the way that I like to work in thick sections, and I like to make sure that I'm properly saturating, but this one's making it a little difficult to move that hair open. Now there was not a processing time for this lightener. It just said to check it every 5 minutes to see when it was done. So for that reason, we're gonna go the max processing time, which most lighteners on the market will tell you do not exceed, and that is 60 minutes. I feel like this should be called thick AF, not blonde AF. Now we're gonna go ahead and let this one process. So now that it's been 60 minutes, let's see if we got any swelling factor, and I can't say we got any real swelling from this lightener. It doesn't feel like puffy clouds, but let's go ahead and feel this one. It does feel like slightly puffy, but nothing, no, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I think it's that blue. The blue tones just play a trick on your eye. It's like you have to like wipe it clean. See? And then like you take it off and then it's like, oh, I don't know. This is another one where I gotta wash it off and see what it's gonna look like. So that could be kind of like a negative for me, just because I want to see exactly what the hair is going to look like as soon as it's done processing, so I don't have to wash it off and then wish I would have left it on a little longer. But you know, I think after using it a little bit of time, sometimes you just know how things work and then they work for you. But let's go ahead and wash this one out. Now this is all done processing, I think we got a really great lift, very similar to the Redken lift. Like, it looks like an 8, maybe a little darker, but we're gonna test it up to the level finder in just a second. Overall, it feels like a good general lightener. I can't say that it feels super hydrated, but it also doesn't feel super dry either. But let's see what this looks like next to the level finder. So now that I'm sizing this up next to the level finder, I do think we got a pretty close level 8. I do think it's slightly darker than an 8. I can't say that it's exactly an 8, but we're just gonna round up to the 8 because that's how close it is. I do think that we got a pretty good lift. Now, again, this is a pretty good level of lift that we got out of this. I think I was looking for something a little bit more wow factor out of the Pulp Riot, just because it is a line that was founded on Vivids, so I was expecting it to give me a little bit more oomph, just because with Vivids you a lot of times need something to push through to that 9 levels of lift. So, you know, overall it did a pretty good job, just not really what I was expecting out of it, and maybe I was just having too high of expectations for Pulp Riot, but overall good lift. I think that we can definitely neutralize this, enhance it, do all the things that we need to do. Would I add this to my arsenal? I'm not really sure, but overall I do think we got, you know, from a 2 to an 8 pretty nicely and evenly. I think that I might skip this one. If you like this video and want to watch another one, click here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here. And for more education, head on over to morellamanelli.com or hairbnbuniversity.com.